Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Julia Hannigsberg. I am the President and CEO here at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital. What a beautiful day to be here at Holland Bloorview. Do you agree? It is a spectacular day. I feel like Mother Earth is smiling at us today as we acknowledge these lands that Holland Bloorview is honored to be on, lands that have been in continuous occupation for millennia, lands that have been the homes of many First Nations, the Huron-Wendat, the Petun, the Haudenosaunee, the Mississaugas, and treaty lands of the Mississaugas and the Williams Treaty with the Chippewas. We take our obligations seriously under these treaties, obligations of truth and reconciliation, and at Holland Bloorview, that means our consistent commitment to partnership with Indigenous organizations to enhance the care and services provided to children with disabilities, developmental differences, and medical complexity, to ensure that we provide culturally safe care and to continue to learn. Today, Toronto is still home to many Indigenous peoples, and across Turtle Island, we're grateful, honored, humbled to have the opportunity to work, learn, discover on these lands, on this territory, Turtle Island. Chi-miigwech, merci, thank you. Boy, have we been waiting for this day. I am absolutely thrilled to welcome all of you to the opening of the brand new Bloorview Research Institute. We're so excited to see all of you here. I want to recognize some special guests who are joining us. First of all, elected officials, Logan Kanapathi, the MPP and Parliamentary Assistant for the Minister of Children, Community and Social Services. Thank you so much for joining us. We're delighted to have our local MPP, Stephanie Bowman, the MPP for Don Valley West. Stephanie, thank you for being such a great friend to Holland Bloorview. We're also fortunate from the Government of Ontario to welcome Assistant Deputy Minister Rachel Simeon. Rachel, thank you for joining us today. We're also so pleased to have a number of our partners and leaders in the health system. Jennifer Churchill, CEO of Empowered Kids Ontario. Jennifer, thank you for being with us. Lauren Etten, the Executive Director of Kids Health Alliance. Melissa Prokopi from the Ontario Hospital Association, Kelly Smith, Interim Chief Scientific Officer of Michael Garron Hospital. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. I have a favorite quote from a friend of ours, Dr. Tom Chow, who's also with us here today. And it's a quote that I wrote down. You know, I can't even remember the occasion when Tom said it, but I wrote it down on a Post-it note, and it's lived on my desk ever since. And every once in a while, the Post-it note gets kind of ratty, so I have to write it again on a new Post-it note. And it says, "Today is the most important day in the life of a child." However, today, we're celebrating the future, because research is all about the hope we provide for the future days for children and youth with developmental differences and disabilities. With this expansion of research, we are going to be able to do incredible things at this organization, and I couldn't be more proud. I want to take you back in time to 2018. The Research Institute was 14 years old, and Tom and I always used to joke that it was a gnarly teenager. And like many 14-year-olds, it was growing fast, growing out of its space. And since the launch of the Research Institute, only in 2004, so it's still a pretty young enterprise, it had by that time already tripled in size in terms of the number of researchers, staff, and students. The Institute was in desperate need of more space, more updated equipment and technology, more researchers with a passion for the impact they could make on the lives of kids and families. You know, there are 400,000 children with disabilities in this country and millions across the globe. And every single person who works at Holland Bloorview, every single researcher, trainee, student in the Research Institute is devoted and focused on the kind of research that will make an impact on those lives. Tom Chow was the Vice President of Research and Director of the Bloorview Research Institute at that time in 2018. And he came to me with a vision of growing research and the kind of space that would make that possible. He had a vision to take Holland Bloorview's research enterprise to a level of even greater local, national, and international impact, and to create the circumstances to make even greater change for families worldwide. That vision that Tom had was embraced by the senior management team of the hospital, and then he took that bold vision to the hospital board of directors. Last night, while we were celebrating with donors and former chairs of our board, it was actually our then chair of the board, Callie Hunt, who was saying to Dr. Evdokia Agnostou, who I'll be introducing shortly, and I, that she remembered so well that board meeting when Evdokia, our now VP of Research, and Tom, our then VP of Research, came to the board to paint a picture of what the impact could be of a new BRI. And she talked about the pride she felt as the board unanimously embraced that vision. Under Tom's leadership and in partnership with the absolutely extraordinary Holland Bloorview Foundation under the leadership of my friend, partner in crime, Sandra Hawken. Let's hear it for Sandra and her team, please. Sandra took the leap with us, Sandra's team, and the board of directors of Sandra's foundation took the leap with us, bravely to say, yeah, we'll raise $32 million. Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. Sandra will talk to you a little bit later about what it took to do that. $32 million later, here we are in this amazing environment, and we're gonna show you more about this space shortly. This campaign allowed us to create this space, create new extraordinary opportunities, including our new Jason Smith Research Tower. Last night we welcomed donors into the space, as I said, for the first time, and you'll see many of those donors' names across the Research Institute as you're walking through. I'd urge you to take a moment to look at those names of individuals and organizations who have demonstrated belief in us, belief in what we do, because their belief in us enables each and every one of you to do what matters most to you. So we are so grateful to them. I want to thank everybody in our Holland Bloorview community for helping us make this happen. Clients and families, of course, who participated in every part of co-design for the project. Hospital leadership and staff who not only supported the project, but I'll have to admit had to put up with some challenging days and did so with grace and patience. Our building services team, led by Ian Rogers, along with Vice President Bodar Rubashewski, who co-executive led the project along with Tom Chow. Our incredible infection prevention and control team. Did I mention we built a new research institute during a pandemic, people, and we kept everybody safe, and we could not have done it without that IPAC team, so we are so grateful to them. Of course, our architect, Scout Hastings, construction team at ButCon, and I need to give a very special shout out to Peter Van Kessel, our project manager, without whom we could not have kept this project on track. Peter is a friend. Peter is truly a member of the Holland Bloorview team. This project may be over, but you know, Holland Bloorview is a bit like Hotel California. You can check in, but you can't really check out. So Peter, you're stuck with us. Thank you so much, Peter. We couldn't have done it without you. I also need to single out one other very special colleague today, and that is the Grow HB Research Project Director, Nadia Tennell, who oversaw the entire project to ensure everything ran smoothly and seamlessly. She has a calm that is miraculous. I don't know how she maintains it. Once again, she was running this project during a pandemic, and she was the one who had to make sure all the threads got tied together. Nadia, thank you so much. We owe you everything. Just this past January, we appointed a new Vice President of Research and Director of the Bloorview Research Institute, Dr. Evdokia Agnostou. It's such a pleasure when you search the globe to find your new VP of Research, and you actually find her one floor below you. We are so delighted, and we know that under her leadership, the Bloorview Research Institute will advance transformational research in ways that will bring all hopes and aspirations for this incredible space to life. These are certainly exciting times at Holland Bloorview. with this new space, a phenomenal team, a community that believes in and supports us, clients and families who are with us every step of the way, and a new strategic plan set to launch tomorrow, so come back if you want to have some more fun. This is truly the dawn of a new era. I am so delighted that we can share in this celebration together, and it is now my very great pleasure to invite my friend and colleague, Sandra Hawken, President and CEO of our foundation, to say a few words. Sandra.
Thank you, Julia, and thank you to all of you for being here today for this incredible celebration. One of my favorite Margaret Mead quotes is, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." When I think about the power of philanthropy, that's what it means to me. And this is exactly what philanthropy has done for Holland Bloor View's Research Institute, changing the world for kids with disabilities and developmental differences through research. And this is an especially enormous deal because kids with disabilities and developmental differences are not always on everyone's radar, and they most certainly are not always on every funder's radar. When we look at the landscape of funding across the GTA, only 1.4% of every donor dollar is directed at kids with disabilities here at Holland Bloor View. And if you look nationally at the pediatric healthcare and research funding space, only 2.4% of national philanthropic dollars are dedicated to kids with disabilities here at Holland Bloor View. When we think about the big federal funding agencies that our scientists are applying for regularly, it's often that kids with disabilities are left out. The focus is on big population-wide diseases like cancer. We believe that kids with disabilities should not be left out, that they deserve a full and meaningful future, and access to a world that includes them. And brave, bold, generous, inclusive, and equitable philanthropy like we witnessed in this $32 million campaign is exactly how we're going to get there. Today is about celebrating science, or uniquely at Holland Bloor View, to steal from Dr. Chow, where science meets love. Today is about celebrating also the power of philanthropy and its love that fuels the work that we do here through our scientific discovery. Everything that you will see here today and that you will hear about today as part of this expansion, every inch of the space, every piece of equipment, every dream that's been fueled, was 100% funded by donor dollars. There were no other funding sources to enable this huge dream other than the companies, the individuals, and the family foundations who we celebrate on our walls and throughout the Jason Smith Research Tower. When I woke up yesterday morning preparing for our donor event, I reflected on the fact that aside from raising my extraordinary son, this is the thing that in my 50 years on Earth, I am most proud of. Having the great privilege to partner with Julia Henningsberg, Dr. Tom Chow, now Dr. Evdokia Agnostou, and their teams at the Research Institute and the hospital, along with the courageous board of directors at the hospital and the foundation, and a foundation staff that is unparalleled in our nation. Together with donors and that group of leaders, we successfully mounted the largest fundraising effort for childhood disability research in Canadian history. Our donors, they created a catalyst for hope and for fulfilled promises for families and a formidable jumping board for our amazing new VP Research, Dr. Agnostou, and her team to dare and to soar into the future. Our donors have said that kids with disabilities will not be left out. Our donors have said that kids with disabilities will have the most meaningful and fulfilling future thanks to world-changing research right here at Holland Bloorview. And last night, I said that I hope every donor at any level of giving, whether it was $10 or $10 million, are as proud as I am because the impact that they have made will have a ripple effect across the globe and for generations. Thank you for recognizing the powerful role of philanthropy in today's special grand opening as we all make history today.
Thank you so much, Sandra. It's now my great pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. Evdokia Adegnastu, Vice President of Research and Director of the Bloorview Research Institute.
Oh, what an amazing day to see you all. I'm thrilled to share our excitement for this milestone in the history of the Bloorview Research Institute and our hospital. With friends, lots of familiar faces. Some of you are partners in research, some of you are partners in clinical care. Some of you are external partners that motivate us to keep going, to think big. You tell us where the priorities should be, what's impactful and what's not, and we are committed to be co-creating with you the vision of this place and of this beautiful new building to impact the lives of kids with developmental differences and disabilities. So as many of you know, Holland Bloorview routinely scores in the top 40 research hospitals in Canada under the leadership of Dr. Tom Chow before me. And what you may not know is that we actually rank 6th in the country in research density. So in terms of the amount of productivity, commitment, and work that we produce, we outperform a lot of our larger partners in our communities. We are the only pediatric disability-focused, university-affiliated research institute in this country, and we need to remember that. It's a unique position, it's a privilege and a responsibility to be in this position. There's 20 scientists currently in the Research Institute. There are more than $7 million of external funding every year and more than 100 high-impact papers every year that showcase the work and the commitment to this space. With the completion of the research expansion under the leadership of Tom, but also Julia and Sandra and the board and our external partners and our donors, we currently have the highest concentration of childhood disability research, childhood disability research in the country and globally. And we will continue to recruit top talent in terms of our scientists, our researchers, our trainees, our family advisors in this area so that our impact is not only felt in our community, but globally. The vast majority of kids who have developmental differences and pediatric disability do not live in Canada, do not live in North America, do not live in first world countries. The vast majority of kids who experience these differences and disability live around the world in places where they do not have the resources we have. They do not have the opportunity of a building like this. We will grow our clinical, industry, academic, and community partnerships for that reason around the globe so that we can scale our impact beyond our communities and our doors. For those of you who are going to be part of the tours, you will see some of the work that is being done within these walls by our scientists, our researchers, our staff, and some of our family advisors that come from a variety of disciplines. So you will meet physicians, psychologists, allied health professionals, engineers, sociologists, and even urban planning geography people, like Tim over there, who's taller than everybody else, so you can actually see him. You'll have the opportunity to learn a little bit about the breadth and the depth of the research that we do, including how we attempt to understand developmental diversity. So the many different ways our brains and our bodies develop, but also the many different ways we perceive the world, the many different ways of having lived experience, and how we use that information to think about how we co-create with families and youth treatments and interventions and supports that facilitate for them, that help them develop a vision of a good life for themselves that's personal to themselves, and what it would take to actually get there. You will see our shared core space facilities that we affectionately call Discovery Hubs. These are spaces that are supposed to break silos between the researchers and the labs and allow for collaboration between researchers, community, youth, and families. I think on the tour you're going to see the Imaging Discovery Hub. This is a facility that includes the only in Canada pediatric, fully accessible, and immersive MRI scan that allows us to understand brain differences, how they come about and how they develop, and links to our neuromodulation lab, where it gives us the brain information, gives us the opportunity to then stimulate the brain activity in ways that produce improvements in learning and mobility and emotion regulation. You will hear some interesting demonstrations. Examples are social ABCs by Dr. Jessica Bryan, who can raise your hand in the back, who studies how we develop interventions for kids who have social communication challenges. Her work is not only now in Canada, but is taken around the world, including low-income countries. You will see our high-tech motion capture system in the High Performance Lab, where technology is allowing us to study movement and movement changes in detail to facilitate improvements in motor function for kids who have neuromotor differences. You will visit Brain-Computer Interface Lab from Dr. Chow to understand how advanced technologies can help kids who have no other ability to communicate and participate in life, not only to express their needs and wants, but to experience joy, to play, to participate in recreation. I think you're going to visit Dr. Elaine Vidi's lab, where, therapy is not fun. Making therapy into a video game is not a bad idea. So you're going to see our efforts for gamification of therapy, so the ability to use engineering expertise to convert therapy into something that looks like play and recreation for kids. I think you're also going to visit our accessible playground, where you will get a feeling for the work that's being done by Tim Ross and his team to think about not how we intervene at the kid level or the family level, but how we intervene at our spaces and our communities to make sure that inclusion and accessibility is possible. And you're going to walk through many other labs that you may not have time to stop to see demonstrations on, that include computational neuroscientists, include people who do health services research to understand how to improve the health sector that we operate in, people who think about deployment and inclusion, people who think about the intersection of disability with other types of identities that may put kids and families at risk of not getting access to all the services and communities they need to enact their personalized vision of a good life, right? And many more. And for those of you I didn't name, I'm sorry, I need to wrap it up. At the Research Institute, we are committed to children and youth and adults with developmental conditions and disabilities and their families. And we commit that we'll co-create with them the work that we're going to do, that they will all be able to participate in and take advantage of the research that we do. We also commit that the children and the families who come and partner with us will see themselves and their communities in our researchers, in our research staff, in our trainees, And as such, we have already partnered with initiatives that allow for many different identities to be obvious and present and facilitated in our research team. So we have partnered with the Empowering Black Academics Network from University of Toronto, and we have, as an example, a lived experience and an Indigenous stream on our summer Ward Family student research program. The renovation of this space and our brand new tower over here are fully accessible. They have modern collaborative spaces. They will facilitate and accelerate our research and innovation in childhood disability. In this group among you, we have some of the most incredible talent in our trainees, in our researchers, in our family advisors alike, to advance the fields of childhood disability and developmental difference. And I'm humbled and I'm honored to work with all of you, and I can't wait. So thank you all for being here today. It's a day of celebration. Enjoy the day, enjoy the space, and we look forward to partnering with all of you to make a difference in the lives of kids with disabilities and developmental difference.
Thank you, Evdokia. And as you heard Evdokia say, there's nothing that we do here at Holland Bloorview in research, care, and services that we don't do with the Partnership of Families. And I'm delighted to introduce an extraordinary family leader today, Manuela Comito, who's going to speak to us about the impact of research on her family.
Hello everyone, I'm very happy and honored to be here today at this great event. I'm also happy to see a lot of familiar faces in person finally. That's a great achievement. And for those who doesn't know me, my name is Manuela Comito, and I have two daughters, Sophia, who's 13, just turned 13, I can't believe it, and Julia, who's 8. My daughter Sophia was born with a very rare syndrome called split hand-foot malformation that mainly causes limb deficiencies. In my daughter's case, the syndrome has affected both feet and hands and also causes some hearing loss. When she was about a year old, she had a surgery at SickKids Hospital, and then we were referred here at the orthotic and prosthetic department, where she's still a client. Like a lot of families here, since then Holland Bloorview has become like a second home for us. I've been family leader since 2012 and member of the Research Family Engagement Committee since 2013. I'm very proud of all the incredible results this committee has accomplished in promoting and supporting authentic and meaningful engagement of family kids in the research process, from the very beginning to the very end. And the role of the family has been extended from the more traditional participant in research in a true partner and co-design of the research. And here we are. Today we're here to celebrate the BR expansion, yet another great success of Holland Bloorview that's been greatly benefited from the continued collaboration between researchers, family, and staff. And it seems just yesterday that as family leader, we were asked to give our insight on this project, on the layout, the use of color and space. And here we are. Today we're actually experiencing this new amazing space that has 8 new discovery apps, a state-of-the-art equipment, amazing MRI, research MRI, and 11,000 square foot Jason Smith Research Tower. And that's absolutely incredible. But what is also incredible for me is this new facility has been completely centered on family and client needs. It's fully accessible, is child-friendly, has wider doors and hallways, and touchless door openers, color contrast between the walls for people that have visual impairments, as an immersive and customized research MRI. And I had the opportunity yesterday to the donors event to see, to experience myself for the first time in person, and I was really impressed. is amazing. It's amazing to see the enthusiasm and the passion of the researchers, the equipment, the researchers that are going on, and also the space is amazing. It's this wide, open space, very colorful. It's very welcoming, and there's a lot of these big windows that allows the sunlight to come in, and also a view on the ravine. I mean, it's very nice environment, and I'm sure that that will make the participation in research a more positive, enjoyable, and unique experience. It will also benefit people that work there, of course. And I really hope that this new concept will inspire other research institutions here in Canada and in the world. I'm happy here today because, yes, we are celebrating a great accomplishment, but we are also here to celebrate a new beginning. And if I have to describe in one word what the BRI expansion means for me as a family leader, this word would be a promise. A promise of accelerated research, a promise of new scientific discoveries, more intervention that can promote health and well-being of kids, and life-changing innovation idea that can actually be turned in real-world product service that will benefit kids and youth with disability and their family of this generation and the generation of the future. So today I want to really thank you, all of you. I want to thank those who had this vision, those who believe in this vision and invested resources, capability, passion, time, great effort in turn this vision into the reality we see today. I really want to thank you, everybody, from the bottom of my heart, for your precious contribution and your support in helping Holland Bloorview keep its promises to make this world a better place for kids with disability and their family. A world where every child can realize the full potential and live happy, healthy, and meaningful lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manuela. And speaking of the future is now. The person who you've all been waiting to hear from, one of our amazing clients, the wonderful Zachary Raymond. Welcome, Zach.
Thank you, Julia. So as you all know, my name is Zach, and I'm a client ambassador here at Holland Bloorview and a lover of science. I've been coming to Holland Bloorview since I was 2.5, and I've been to physiotherapy, occupational therapy, hypertonia, the feeding clinic, FinFlex. I've hung out in the playroom and even went to Holland Bloorview School for kindergarten and grade 1. I really liked how I was able to be around different kids, even some that didn't have a disability, and we all just hung out and had a great time together. I stayed at Holland Bloorview as an inpatient, and I loved all the extra programs and activities like robotics, cooking, music, drumming on a drum with a music therapist. I was pulled out of my hospital bed to help join the groundbreaking of the BRI. And as a bonus, Tom Chow gave me this bow tie. Thank you. And yeah, I've been an ambassador at Holland Bloorview since I was 6 years old, and I've had the opportunity to attend the Evening of Possibility, speak with the media about Holland Bloorview, and participate in research studies like Boodle Blast and the Local Map. I can't wait for you to see the MRI. It's one of my favorite things at Holland Bloorview, for so many reasons. I even participated in a video showing incoming patients how much fun getting a scan with Kevin can be. Kevin is our nickname for our research MRI. Did you know the person who runs the MRI is also named Kevin? I'll be downstairs with Kevin, and an amazing scientist named Derek Beal, and I can't wait to see you on your tour.
Thank you so much, Zachary. It's amazing to have you with us here. This is the conclusion of our official remarks for today. And I really am excited for all of you now to actually get to be in the space, see what we've been talking about and what we're so excited about. Thank you for being here to be part of the celebration of the Research Institute that is the scientific space created by and for love. Now, to give you some of the nuts and bolts of how the tours are going to work and what you're going to see, Nadia Tunnell. Over to you, Nadia.
Thanks, Julia. As Julia mentioned, I had the privilege over the last 5 years of working with our partners, Gow Hastings, BuckCon, Nexus PM, and our clients and families, our researchers, and our colleagues across the hospital to support this incredible expansion. It's been a privilege and an honor. Today, I get to tell you about the housekeeping rules for our tours before the fun begins. So, this is a mask-friendly environment, a mask-friendly event, so we ask that once you enter indoors that you please put your masks on, with the exception of if you'd like to enjoy some refreshments or some snacks in our Coriat atrium. We ask that you finish your refreshments before you head up to the Research Institute. It is a refreshment and food-free environment for today. If you would like a guided tour, our research demos, some of which Zach gave you a sneak peek of earlier today. If you want to go see Zach in the MRI, our tour champions will take you there. So we have tour champions scattered in our audience. Tour champions, if you could raise your panel so people know where you are. Those tour champions are going to make their way into the Coriat atrium. You can find one of them, join any tour, and you'll get to see all the amazing research in action. If you want to enjoy the space on your own, you're also welcome to do that. We have self-guided tours. You can pick up a self-guided tour package at reception and head on up to the 4th and 5th floor and enjoy our spaces on your own. Before we begin, I also just want to remind you about taking pictures. You are welcome to take pictures to celebrate this new space and share those pictures with friends and families and colleagues. We just ask that you ensure that there are no clients or families in the pictures when you're taking them. So we're going to wrap up now and let the tours begin. Tours will go until about 12:30, and then we'll hand back the Research Institute to the scientists and teams to do their important work. Please make your way into the Coriat atrium through our doors here, find a tour guide, pick up a package, and enjoy the space. Thank you all for being here.